Thank you for joining the Syndicate Network and your host, Skywalker the Jedi. Skywalker the Jedi.
Zack Snyder fans are weirdos. Do you think James Gunn can reboot the DC universe properly?
This answer your question.
Oh my God! James Gunn.
Okay, Walton, James Gunn's not more successful than Zack Snyder at the box office. Zack Snyder, look at Batman v Superman and how well 300 did and all that stuff. Boy, I gotta tell you, James Gunn's fans, you guys are like, you're more aggressive. Let's just say more aggressive than even Snyder fans, and that's saying something. Woo! And you got a lot of free time, I must say.
Woo, honey.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It is your boy Skywalker the Jedi back at y'all with another one. Y'all could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me rocking out, and I appreciate that, man. Much love, each and every single one of y'all out there. We about to rock out, you dig? So glad that everybody could be taking part in this live play as well as the replay as well. Shouts out to all y'all, man. So glad to be here having this conversation. You dig? We got the homie Dennis Medina in the building. What's going on, Dennis? We got DC Talk 82 in the building. What's going on, DC Talk? Much love, Mama Bear. Hope you are having a wonderful time and you have a great time on your stream. Just catch this whenever, if ever. You dig? Hope you have a wonderful evening. Right? Yeah, much love, y'all. We got the homie, the good Austin, in the building. What's going on, bro? Much love, homie. We got Toy Mafia in here. We got Sin Havoc 5150. Much love, Sin Havoc. We got Nessa Noel in the house. What's going on, Nessa? Right? Much love. We got RMT Rebel Moon Theory in the building. What's going on, bro? Much love. Thank you for stopping through, RMT, aka the Curly Ray. We got Josh Herrera in the house. What's going on, bro? Thank you for being here, sir. For sure. Oh, yeah. We about to get to it. You dig? We're going to have a wonderful conversation. So glad that you guys are here to rock out. And this shouldn't be a super long one, right? This shouldn't be a super long one. I don't want to butcher the name. I'm about to just say Saul. What up, Saul? What's going on? Right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and get through the little opening rigmarole so we can get started with the show. You dig? Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, smashing that share, as well as the subscribe and that notification bell so that you know when I'm going live and all that good stuff. We are the creators of these hashtags. Y'all know what's up, man. I ain't about to keep doing this, right? Rules of engagement: be positive, don't mix the hashtags, and please don't tag, mention, reply to, or anything of that nature anybody over at WBD, which is including but not limited to one James Gunn. ZSJL to Netflix on YouTube and X are also platforms that you guys should be following, right? And yep, if you want to sponsor a stream, y'all already know how it go with the super chats. And shout out to the homie, the good Austin, that is the sponsor of this stream. You dig? You call it back up with the chat, and then we're gonna have this conversation, right? Yeah. So, man, I've been hearing a lot, yo. I've been hearing a lot these past few years about how theaters are dying off, and they're dead, they're dying. And I think that there needs to be a conversation that has to be had, especially at this point. He said, Sky, you need a commercial for this ESSM movement. Make sure you get that done. Hey, you know what's crazy is that maybe that's what that effective teaser is, but I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Right? Maybe you guys should be locked in, right? Maybe it's teasing something that's on the horizon. You guys never know, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and just kind of have this conversation though, because there's a lot of discussions about cinema dying and theaters dying off. And I think that these conversations are for the most part being had in bad faith. I do not think that people are really discussing the meat and potatoes of this shit, because I don't see how we don't consistently come back to the same point, which is, well, I'm gonna get into what the issues are later, but let's go ahead and jump into why we're having this conversation. Because if you guys didn't know, right, let me be the one to tell you that history has been made recently, and y'all already know how we are huge Christopher Nolan fans over on this platform, right? And just, there's things that are happening whenever you have like groundbreaking shit happening, we have to cover it over here. And I'm not sure if you guys know about this, right? But Christopher Nolan just broke history and said, yo, I'm about to put tickets for my movie on sale a year before this shit comes out, right? A year before this shit comes out. Almost like as this shit is like concert tickets, right? This is crazy. Back in the day, see, because something like this could only have been done in the age of the internet, right? Because first of all, back in the day, there's no way that you could go to a movie theater and then go get tickets for a film and hold on to them for a year, right? So this has to have been, first of all, something that would have been done in the internet age, right? But yeah, I checked, and this is by far the furthest out. I think that they said the furthest that they had ever put out the tickets was about like 6 months before a movie came out. Oh my God. But this is crazy. This motherfucker put his tickets on sale a year early. And you know what's crazy? They sold out in a little over an hour. Yo, they went on sale and they were sold out. And this is not, look, this is not just like, see, when they was trying to sell the Superman tickets on on that Amazon Prime screening, you know, for day or whatever, it was all for the same day. This is the entire weekend. This is Friday through Saturday. Excuse me, Sunday. Friday through Sunday. Right? I need you guys to understand this. This is Friday through Sunday. Okay? That shit is sold out. Yo, crazy. I need you guys to hold up. I need y'all to put in the chat. Did Sky get tickets? Right? Put a 1 in the chat if I got a ticket. Put a 2 in the chat if I didn't. I will say this. I found out about this well after that 1 hour period too. Well after it. Well after that 1 hour period. So I will put that out there as a caveat, right? But yeah. Yo, I see a bunch of 1s. I see Sin Havoc got a 1, Nessa got a 1, Osa got a 1, DC Talk, Frank. Okay, Joe Buck. Okay. I'm about to answer y'all in 1 second. Urban Guru said 1. Okay. To answer your question, yes, I did. But y'all want to know what is so despicable about the fact that I got tickets? Is the only tickets that were left in all of Los Angeles. Yo, because with the 70mm IMAX, we have 3 different choices for theaters. We have the Spectrum in Irvine, we have the Universal City, and we have the Chinese Theater. By the time I found out about this entire thing, there were 3 tickets left in the entire Los Angeles area, and it was all for Sunday, and it's all in the very fucking front row. I had to get tickets in the very front row. That is no bullshit. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is this? What is this? I'm like, why do people want? I was like, yo, there can't be. There are that many people that want to see this fucking movie. That shit is insane. We have 3 choices. 2, yo, listen, just so you guys know, the theater that I'm going to fits like 1,000 people per screening. And it was multiple screenings each day, and they were all sold out in an hour. And by the time I got there, it was 3 tickets left in all of Los Angeles. All the other ones were sold out. Spectrum was sold out completely. Universal City was sold out completely. And Chinese Theater had 3 tickets, all in the front row. Crazy. So yes, I will be there. But look, how insane is that? Do you guys realize how insane that is? That the fucking 70mm IMAX theaters are all sold out for a year from now. You cannot get tickets. You cannot get tickets in 70mm IMAX for this movie at all. This is crazy. Just think about that concept. When this movie comes out next year, you will not be able to see this shit in 70mm IMAX first weekend if you don't have tickets. That is insane. And the tickets were $37, bro. Oh my God. Wait, where's that chat that Dennis posted earlier? He said movie's a year away and is already selling out seats. See, that's the power you can't buy. That's the power of cinema. Now, yo, first of all, I think that this. He said, Sky, the fake press act like Gunn has that type of height. Bruh, Gunn ain't never got the juice like that, dog. Gunn ain't never got the juice like that. Sin saying, thankfully, I didn't need tickets. Hey, I feel it. Hey, but us common folk, you know what I mean? I had to be in line. You know what I'm saying? I had to go see these motherfuckers and snag them on Fandango. You know what I mean? Saying, we got Cornbread saying, I'm gonna be sick to not see the aspect ratio change for the first time ever. Yo, imagine that's what happened with what's the name too? Zack Snyder's Justice League. That was insane. That was insane. Right? He said Sky was waiting for those tickets. Yeah, yo. And Joe Buck said it's really suspicious how they report on Diaper Man's box office every. Yo, you know what's crazy? Because I'm gonna get back to that, but I find it so hard to talk about the box office or for that movie. I really don't know what to believe. These numbers, they're all over the place. Nothing makes sense, bro. Like, nobody has been able to explain to me how this film went from, 272 globally to 403, and it made 57 domestic. You know what I mean? And like in all these other countries, the shit's getting snatched out of theaters and it's flopping. So it's flopping all over the place. But it went from 272 to over 400. And the second week was 57 domestic. And it's getting pulled from theaters overseas. But yet it made almost the exact same amount internationally. Really? Nah. He said they don't even have tickets for where I'm at. Hey, look, no, they will when like the regular tickets come out for like the regular IMAX. It's just a 70mm IMAX. That's those screens that what's his name? That Ryan Coogler was talking about with Sinners, which is actually, I am on front. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. I think Nolan got a little inspired by the 70mm IMAX performance of Sinners, bro, and how those screens kept selling out and how they had to keep, or not keep putting it back, but they put it back in theaters on those IMAX screens for the 70mm versions. Yeah, I think that's why they might have been inspired to do this. Because, I don't know, right? Hollywood says, is that why Zach had it in the 4-3-1 to keep the same? Yeah, bro. No, it stayed like that the whole movie. So, like, it took up the entire fucking screen the whole movie. It was crazy. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. That's why it's hard to even kind of like compare other theatrical experiences to that. It was so insane. Like, it cannot be replicated. That shit was insane, right? And when I was talking about Sinners, I was saying that Sinners, definitely Sinners was like the best theatrical experience I had since ZSJL, and probably like outside of that in quite some time, you know. But yeah, that shit was crazy. Frank, she says, imagine WBD being dumb enough to ruin their relationship with Nolan. That's my point. People act like it's just the Snyder shit. WB has kind of consistently in these recent years been ruining their relationships with these larger known directors, you know. Did it with Nolan, pushed him out, pushed Zach out. I don't give a fuck what these haters try to say. Zack Snyder moves the needle, and we're gonna get that. We're gonna get to that in 1 second, right? He said, "Box office trouble." He said, "I'll keep saying it, but the people of old from WB are gone. I think, nah, they ain't gone. They still there. All of them. All of them." Right? He said, "Gotcha. They're only a certain, yeah. You have to have like a 70 millimeter IMAX theater where you were, and it's not like that many of them nationwide. But still, the fact that they sold out in an hour is fucking crazy, especially because it wasn't necessarily like just one day. It was the whole weekend, you know." He said, "I know the shareholders ain't happy, man. Look, you know, y'all know what's up." He said, "But Gunn blames everyone but himself, bruh." He said, I heard Spielberg and told him to fuck off." You know what's crazy? Didn't James Gunn say something about that Spielberg movie too recently? Or am I making that up? Somebody said something about the Spielberg movie. I don't remember who it was. Somebody said something. Can you imagine Spielberg having to report to James Gunn? I would have told him to fuck off too. Or I don't even care. I would have fucked off. I'd be like, huh? This guy? I gotta get notes from this guy? The fuck? He said it was Gunn. Yeah, it was Gunn, right? Somebody said something about Steven Spielberg, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't even remember what the comment was. I just fucking remember being taken aback. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Crazy. But, you know, yeah, man, this is crazy. And I think that this goes to show a few things, man. If you got the juice, if you're somebody that moves the needle, your movie's gonna be able to do good things, man. Right? And I think that when we look at what happens this year, right? Whether it's something like Sinners that does very, very well, you know, it was a big hit for the studio, gave them super good word of mouth, made a bunch of money, right? Took up a bunch of the air out of the zeitgeist, had people talking, probably gonna get some awards, right? If it's something like Sinners, that's, you know, a like smaller, more grounded project, right? Not a whole lot of special effects, right? Original story, original idea, original IP. What's going on? Hold my DualShock HMDS. Shout out to Katie, Andy, and Peter. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag feed Peter. Right. But yeah, Sinners is a smaller original idea that came out of nowhere, just super good filmmaking, storytelling, made a bunch of money, took over the zeitgeist. You know what I'm saying? Great, right? You got Jurassic World eating its way to $700 million, like the homie Leon was just talking about, right? Family movie, go out, you know, just popcorn film, seeing a bunch of big dinosaurs, right? Part of an established franchise, right? And that's making money, right? You could even be something like Fantastic Four, which I'm still standing on this. I think that movie is going to have a look. I'm going to show y'all this shit once again. Y'all keep thinking I'm joking, right? Y'all keep thinking I'm joking about Fantastic Four. I know it's a whole lot of shit being said around the fucking internet. You know what I'm saying? I know. I'm going to show y'all again right now. Okay? Once again, this is just for a regular Thursday. This is not like a early screening. This is not no like, hey, you get to see the movie early. This is a Thursday where it is showing all over the place. The entire front of the fucking theater is sold out. I checked it, and I look. This theater holds 998 people. It's 471 in the orchestra part, all sold out. Most of the balcony section, all sold out. I'm telling y'all, I have not been to a Marvel screening for any of their projects at this place because I went to the one for what is that? Deadpool and Wolverine, but that was the Rob Liefeld screening, so it wasn't at this place. But at this place, which is where Disney has their little things at, they have not had one this packed since Black Panther 2. That is a fact. I've been to them. I didn't go to Marvels, but I checked the tickets. That shit was not nowhere near like this. Fantastic, or not a Fantastic Four. Captain America 4, nowhere near this packed. Thunderbolts, nowhere near this packed. I'm telling y'all, and I've been looking around LA. This movie is moving fucking tickets, yo. So people can say, hey man, look, all right. I'm telling y'all, if Superman opened domestically to 120 and the hype for this movie is way more than that, all right, I'm telling y'all, I don't want to see everybody looking crazy if this shit make 140, 150 million. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna want to hear nothing because I've been saying it. I've been saying this shit. People have no reason to go to this theater and spend $50. You can go anywhere else and go see this movie in LA. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But we'll see. We shall see. Right? But back to what I was saying, though. So even something like Fantastic Four, right? Which is in the same fucking vein of Superman, right? Because I feel like this conversation has been coming up. He said my fucking ticket was $19. Bro, for this screening, it's $50. Each fucking seat that you see that's sold, the light blue or the white or whatever, those are $50 a pop tickets. Right? But yeah, he said wait, where'd that comment go? He said, Sky, they're saying the tone isn't ridiculous. Like, hey, I'm not surprised, bro. Right? But even something like this, which is in the superhero genre, I feel like this theater dying concept has kind of been waking back up because Superman is fucking flopping. You literally got James Gunn, which I'm gonna get into a stream on this later. He's blaming fucking Donald Trump for Superman not doing well internationally. It's crazy. It's your fucking movie, bro. Just didn't look good. It's trash, right? So I don't know. I'm telling y'all, I think that this movie is gonna have a huge fucking opening, and if it opens up way higher than fuck Superman did, then what is the conversation gonna be, right? What is the conversation gonna be? Because I feel like this whole box office thing in theaters being like this concept that's like dying and dying out is coming back up again because of this movie not doing well. And it's like, I don't think that this shit is the case, right? Because hey, you have 3 different things that are of 3 different natures, right? And then all of a sudden they're all fucking successful, but then you have something that is in the box office currently that's underperforming, right? He said he blamed the tariffs. It's real talk. He said, bro, it's an anti-American sentiment around the world. I'm like, really? So why they fucking with the other movies then, man? Like, what are you talking about, bro? This motherfucker said Superman is not a known commodity like that. Bruh, I'm like, are you smoking rocks, dog? Is this motherfucker been linking up with Hunter? This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Motherfucker saying, you know, bruh, look, he's an F1 had an American lead. That bruh, Top Gun Maverick made like $700 million fucking internationally, bro. What is this guy talking about, dog? That was like some of the most American shit you could get. He said America isn't like around the world. That's like saying water is wet. Crazy, man. We're criminals, Alfred. Nothing's changed. Like, hey, what are you talking about? Insane. This motherfucker said Superman is not a known commodity like that. Bro, he on them good drugs, bro. He on them good drugs, right? But, you know, I brought that up to just highlight how I think that a lot of times this stuff is, you know, it's fucking quality related. That's one thing that you're going to kind of be seeing that I'm getting to. You know, I kind of think that these things are quality fucking related, Joe. Right? And here's the thing. Like it or not, he said, oh yeah, Top Gun Maverick is basically an ad for the U.S. Navy. Hence why it's so awesome and it succeeded. That's what I'm saying. Bruh, the first Top Gun is a fucking Navy commercial. We should get Leon on here and ask him if that had any reason to him joining the fucking Navy. Probably did. Right? He said, man, I got the need for speed, right? Fucking dope movie. And Top Gun Maverick, the second one, or which is the sequel, is just as much of an ad for the fucking Navy as the first one is. Right? Says Sky, he feeling that pressure. He better be. That's also because his Superman is a bitch. He said, Wise fans has it for do good overseas. It is, bro. It is, bro. I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all. I can be wrong, and I'm willing to take it if I am. But I don't think I'm gonna be. He said, can we take a second to imagine a Superman movie directed by Joseph Kosinski? What does WBD have against actual auteur filmmakers that they don't want them making DC movie nowadays? I just don't get it. Because, bro, it's about Marvelizing DC. And they fucked up because if you look at Marvel Phase 1, bro, they actually had really, really good filmmakers that came up in that set of really, really good groundwork. Everybody from Jon Favreau to Joe Johnston to Kenneth Branagh, they were all a part of Phase 1. And it's what made that shit so fucking successful. It wasn't until later that they brought in motherfuckers like James Gunn and these like lesser known directors and the Russo brothers who had only been known for doing Community, right? It wasn't really until then that they started fucking taking a chance with some of these lesser known filmmakers, right? Or less proven filmmakers rather, right? But yeah, man, it's because they're trying to Marvelize this shit and have this top down where they just fucking do everything and control everything, and it's just gonna fail. It's going to fail, bro. It's gonna fail, and it's already failing, right? He said Gunn is on that ass crack cocaine, bro. He on something, dog. He on something. Right. He said, in 2 weeks, Fantastic Four will outgross Super Shit's entire record. You can quote me on that. Yeah, bro. I don't think that we're gonna get the real numbers from this movie till afterwards, bro. What's going on, S. Warrior? Yep. What's going on, Ill Life? Yep. Even when they could afford them, that was the problem, though. You know. We got CY98 with the $5 super chat saying Kenneth Branagh for Thor was a stroke of genius. To this day, that is the best Thor movie, bro. That is the best Thor movie. Is the very first one, which is crazy to say. Crazy to say it, but that's the best one. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support, bro. Let me go ahead and get this drop real quick.
The first 5 minutes of my Superman movie, which was imagine you remember Pixar's Up?
Sure.
A sequence with no dialogue that covered that character's.
Yeah.
Okay. The first 5 minutes of the movie was a setup after which you knew exactly what made Superman tick,
Yeah.
and exactly what Superman was most afraid of, and why Superman made the choices that he made. And it would have been epic. It would have been epic. In 5 minutes, the scale of the movie would have been absolutely extraordinary. And the other thing, and I hope that anybody who watches this movie, that enjoys the end of this movie walking away, that's the feeling I would want you to walk away from, because that's really what Superman is about. It's about hope, and it's about it being inspiring, and it's and the joy that character created. I don't think you need to live in the shadow of Donner's Superman.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to live in the shadow of John Williams' score.
Right. Yeah, we got a Hollywood saying Sky is right, and the add-on to that, WBD is against auteur filmmakers using the DC property because Hollywood in general is afraid of risk, and original ideas are risky. That includes well-known characters with original ideas. That's why Elseworld stories are a gamble for WBD, and never thought the Joker would have been as big as it was. That's why it had a small budget. So the MCU formula is proven safe. That's why WBD wants the MCU of DC to mitigate risk and make a huge amount of money from that audience, but it won't work. Yeah, bruh, it's kind of like what I was trying to say earlier, or this whole time. You can't cut off your fan base to try to gain a following of another one. DC and Marvel are so different, bro. DC and Marvel are so different. We were talking earlier about Crisis on Two Earths and just how dope that fucking story is, right? And how dope the animated adaptation was and how dope it was and just how different it is from anything that you typically get from the Marvel side, right? And it just shows like it's fine to have two separate fan bases that are being serviced. It's fine. You know, you should just try to do the best with what you have, not try to fucking change what you have to suit another fan base. That's hella dumb. Right? You can't run the Boston Celtics like the Los Angeles Lakers. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The fan bases are totally fucking different. It's the same sport, right? They even compete, but it's two different fan bases. It's two different cultures. It's two different histories. Like their cities have different fucking histories. Like it's just, you can't do it. You cannot do it. You cannot run the teams the same way. The fan bases don't react, right? He said, and both teams suck. You get the point, though, Sin Habit. So the fucking Celtics just won the championship like a year or two ago. Stop it, right? But, and I don't even like the Celtics, but, right? Yeah, you can't do that, right? Even though they both play the same sport, right? You can't run those franchises the same, right? LA, it's a very, very star-driven place. They're all about going out and getting free agents, right? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people are more willing to go take pay cuts and go there because it's LA and it's weather and it's the Hollywood and the glitz and glamour, all that stuff, right? Boston can't do that. They can't offer those same things. And so what do they offer? It's like, hey, we have a culture here. We build our players. We build our teams. We draft well. We make trades and all that, you know, blah, 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 all that stuff. That's how they have to go about, you know, their dealings, and their fan base and their culture that they built react to that, right? If you start trying to do the things that the Lakers do in Boston, the Bostonians are not going to like that shit. It's just the truth. Right? Like trading away core pieces to try to go bring something, you know, that's just not how that shit would work, right? Like, and I'm sorry to keep going with this fucking sports analogy, but it just shows that like you can't, like, even if something is in the same space and they're competing, that does not mean that you run them the same. You cannot run DC how you run Marvel. Can you have a universe? Yes, that's fine, right? Nobody said that Warner Brothers shouldn't have been trying to create a universe with their characters, right? That's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is do something different than what Marvel's doing, because your stories are different, your characters are different, everything's different, you know. He said, Brad Stevens, creative accountant, right? He said, yeah, right now there's no difference between the MCU and DCU. Facts, which is how they wanted it. And this shit's not going to work. He said, it's like comparing Call of Duty to Battlefield. They might look specifically or superficially similar, but their experiences are different in terms of scope and approach. Great analogy, bro. Right? He said, yep, and it's been like this for years now. The Hamadaverse was literally the MCU, but the cheesiness in the Hamadaverse was turned up to 100 to where even MCU fans were looking at it crazy as fuck. Yep. All right. Right? Man, y'all taking this shit into sports now. Crazy, right? But back to my point, right? You have filmmakers that move the needle. It don't matter what you want to say about anybody down here that I have right here, but these are absolute facts, yo. Christopher Nolan, James Cameron, Denis Villeneuve, and Zack Snyder all move the fucking needle, yo. Each of these people move the needle, bro. You have needle movers in Hollywood. Absolutely. Right? These are not even the only needle movers. That's not what I'm saying. These are not the only ones, but these are some of the biggest. Right? And it's funny because all these people kind of talk about one another, right? But you know, when you have people that move the needle, you have to facilitate them, right? Like, I need you guys to answer this question for me, right? Let's just say, just for sake of the argument, let's say Zack Snyder never has to take out that 30 minutes from Batman vs. Superman. Let's say Batman vs. Superman comes out, the Ultimate Edition comes out. That's the regular version. That's the only version. It's 3 hours, right? It gets its full theatrical run. It makes $1 billion, right? Justice League goes on to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like to come out, we get the 214 cut, right? That's reasonable. And the whole fucking thing gets to go unscathed, right? And then let's even say, right, because I'm even willing to go out on a limb and say, okay, well, if that would have happened, then I think Marvel would have stepped their shit up tremendously. They would have had to, right? Even though I, as a fucking Zack Snyder fan, I want to say that if Zack got the finish, they probably wouldn't even have been able to fucking finish their shit, right? That's what the Snyder cultist in me wants to believe. But in all reality, let's just say that they pivoted and they was like, yo, we got something even doper for that ass. And then we're going to come and we're going to go down our own road, which wouldn't have been Infinity War and Endgame, and we know why. But it would have been some other Avengers 3 and 4. And you know, let's just say that those go on to be successful too, right? And then we get to this point where we have the DC EU that thrived, you have the MCU that thrived, all these films were making money, there was just good competition and back and forth, right? This, that, and the third. Do you think that we would be having this same fucking conversation about fucking theaters dying? How much of a problem has these comic book movies failing in theaters been a fucking issue? Right? That's where these issues are mainly discussed. Not exclusively, of course. Right? Michael said the MCU started stagnating immediately after WB swerved Zack Snyder. Of course. Right? Yep, it was supposed to be Infinity Gauntlet and Journey to Eternity. I remember the Infinity Gauntlet, right? 100%. Right? He said, that's facts. Zack's departure hurt both sides. Once competition was gone, MCU got complacent. These are facts, right? And how much of a role have these fucking comic book movies flopping been playing, right? Like, how much of a different fucking scenario are we in if DC has been thriving this whole time too? Right? Yeah, I definitely saw Mac Main in here earlier. Yep. Right? He said, look at Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2. Yep. There you go. Right there. Oh, he said, damn, I did get blocked. Crazy. He said, I'm here. Hey, yeah. Y'all was talking right back and forth. You know what I mean? Y'all going back, y'all going chat for chat damn near, right? But yeah, no, like I really don't think that, you know, we're in this space. If both of these studios were thriving, right? And you have filmmakers that move the needle, yo. But how much have these people been actually fucking supported, yo? Christopher Nolan couldn't even get them to hold off on putting Tenet out, dog. Yep. Yep. And that's what I mean, Sin Havoc. Imagine none of that stuff happened. Like the script don't leak, and you know, they can't change Infinity War and Endgame into, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah, it's like it's crazy. He said it's because there's no difference in the comic book movie genre. Both studios are the same now, no contrast, right? And I would also think that, you know, maybe let's even say, I think that them potentially not having Zach being able to finish at DC is probably one of the reasons why fucking Marvel didn't see it prudent to really go after the Spider-Man shit. They ain't really give a shit. They was like, yo, we ain't got to go do all that. You know, they ain't even capitalizing on our mistakes. Said Infinity War / Endgame was pointless without Adam Warlock, right? Oh yeah, he just didn't know that DC Talk was the main. All right, cool. Yeah, right. He said, right, we were supposed to have gotten Serpent Society, and I believe it would have been the MCU's best trilogy had we gotten that instead of Civil War. Hey, I agree. Right? But all these things start happening once scripts start getting leaked, and, you know, they're over there trying to push Zach out. Right? He said, it's sad that the cinematic universe became an excuse to make the same story with the same tone over and over. And they knew what they were doing. And they were trying to homogenize this whole shit. Said, a pack of fools. Every last one of you. Right? Said, I feel like we're in Bizarro world now. Hey, I keep trying to tell y'all, man. Bruh, there is. Nah, I think that this movie is going to be, you know, look, it happened in 2016 with BVS, where that was a film that came out that was like really, really important. And I think damn near just Hollywood history. If you think about the impact, right, that the film had, and then you fast forward the Justice League. I mean, just talking about like with fandoms and all that stuff, just alone, right? I mean, what's been bigger? Said, did you watch the Triple R film? Absolutely, and it's fire. Loved it. Super creative, super fun. Had a great time with it. Right. But yeah, this is Crazy. But nah, Zach ain't the only person, but he definitely is somebody. That shit moves needles, man. Denny moves needles. James Cameron, Chris Nolan, right? But you got to support these people. And they don't say talking about, oh my God, you're talking about Snyder. It ain't even just Snyder. Nolan got ran out of WB. Like, what are we talking about? He had to get Ghost. I mean, anybody want to ask Todd Phillips if he is chomping at the bit to work with him again? Right? Is Todd Phillips chomping at the bit, ready and roaring to get back to work with WB? Are any of these people, raring to get back to work? Chris fucking McQuarrie said he sounded like he wasn't really fucking with him. Right? Crazy. And Nessa says that she don't think that Marvel was ready for a competitor. I don't either. Right? I know one thing, they would have had to have shaped up or shipped out. You know what I mean? It was gonna be one of the two. Ill Life says, it drives me nuts that Ultimate Edition wasn't just a movie from the jump. Critic reaction would have been so different. People were cheated from Oscars with BVS, real rap. But this is not my opinion, bro. John Schnepp, the late great John Schnepp, said that they left $250 million on the table by not putting that 30 minutes. And that is a movie. He has actually directed stuff and would actually know something. And he was like, yo, they left $250 million. It made 879. If you add in 250 million, there's your fucking $1 billion. So that's not even with the extra theatrical run. That's literally just with the 84 days, which is crazy. The movie was making money and was only in theaters for 84 days. Most other DC movies was getting like over 100 days in theaters. Think about that. BVS only had 84. Why did they snatch it out of theaters so fucking early? Crazy, right? Crazy. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Nah, I'll never forget that clip. He was like, yo, they left $250 million on the table. He was like, seriously, $250 million. By just taking out 30 minutes of a fucking movie. Right? $84 days in fucking theaters, yo. Ridiculous, dog. Anyway. I didn't scratch this damn scab off my leg. Now my leg bleeding like a motherfucker. Right? All right. I think I got it straight for now. He said WD going back to Todd for the Snyderverse, it figures not a coincidence, right? And crazy, bro. Said Sky, don't forget the ridiculous amounts of engagement that the Snyder Cut got in China. I think those low numbers are a sign of that market not being down with the studio's pivot. Hey, why would they be, bro? Why would they be? Right? You don't want that shit, man. Yep. They said they left 500 million, bruh. Just think about that, man. Could all the merchandise that they would have sold even more, right? Yep. And that's the point. It couldn't even we could never get to that point, Nessa. It could never get to the point where it made $1 billion. Yep. Nah, I think the homie Leon went and actually looked it up. It was only in theaters for 84 days. Crazy. Crazy. Right? But and let me go ahead and get to the last topic, man. And this might have been obvious by now, right? But let me go ahead and drive this point on home. The problem are the fucking studios, man. That's the problem, bro. Look, theaters are a microcosm of Hollywood. All right. If Hollywood is doing good, I think the theaters are going to be doing good. If they're making dope shit and they're putting it in theaters and they're doing all this, that, and the third, right? And they're doing all these things, I think people go to the fucking movies for the most part. Hold up, let me check the likes. Y'all hit 50? Oh yeah, let's go ahead and oh wait, no, y'all at 40, like 49. I see. Yeah, it's at 49, almost. Right, but like I was saying, the problem is with the studios. You can't continue to piss off all of these fan bases with these decisions. They've just continued to have all of these tone deaf type of relationships with the fan bases, right? Wait, hold up. Y'all actually did hit the 50 likes now. Let me go ahead and hit that drop for y'all.
You still owe the Great One 50,000 more worlds. He will hear your plea when you pay your debt.
Right. For sure. But yeah, you can't be having these contentious relationships with all of these fan bases and trying to tell the audience what it is that they are gonna accept, right? You guys try to force feed all of these things to us, right? You're putting all these weird ass messaging in these movies. Just look at the Superman film, right? You literally have this film that has been marketed to children and families, admittedly so by James Gunn, with all of these things in that film that are not family friendly. All of these conversations and words that are being used in like allusions to harem and harems and talking about grooming and somebody getting shot in the head and just all these things, right, that are not very family friendly. But you have a studio and a director that is marketing this shit towards families, and it's sick. Right? Got a known, at best, possible sexual deviant in charge of fucking DC Studios. Right? And then it's all these things in this movie that we've just never seen in a fucking Superman movie at all. right? Or part of the Superman mythos on the big screen, right? All these things that, you know, are just not appropriate for the franchise, right? I mean, people say that Zach was trying to be edgy. I mean, what the hell? Right? But you know, we're really sitting here, we're having these conversations, and we're just acting as if these things don't have consequences, right? Senavic says the problem is that the theater chains rely on the real estate market. When the real estate market crashes, so do those theaters. And when you anger your audience, that doesn't help at all. Yeah, I feel it, bro. I totally get it. But at the same time, it's like, I think that when you are like cutting off your nose despite your face, you know what I'm saying? And like you're making it to where the theaters are already lessening their profits because of the actions of the studios, then it's like there's no chance for this shit to thrive, right? Because like, look, let me put it to y'all like this, right? When the lockdown happened in 2020, you know, some businesses out here, like some businesses out here, were able to stay open for quite longer, you know, and a lot of the businesses that were able to kind of like stay open, you know, they came out on the other side of the lockdown a little bit better, right? So, and you had some that were in better positions beforehand, and then, you know, they were able to kind of navigate things once everything started opening back up a little bit better than certain other places, right? But just imagine if you already were losing money and then that happens, right? Imagine, right? He said, Gunn is everything that people accuse Zach of being, but he throws a joke in bright colors so they don't care. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really weird. Uday says, if Indian cinema had the same global marketing power and technical budgets as Hollywood, do you think it would dominate world cinema, or is storytelling style the real reason Hollywood still leads? No, I think Hollywood leads probably just because of infrastructure and history, right? Like when you already have infrastructure and all that stuff, it's gonna of course help you, right? I do think there is something a little bit different about just American culture that people from all over seem to be kind of just inundated with it and just interested in it, right? And so I don't know, right? I think it's a little bit of both, but I definitely think that it's the fucking infrastructure, like for a huge portion of it, right? It said Matt G says Snyder's edgy. Gunn can have Lex shoot someone in the head and worry about the blood getting on his shoe, but that's not edgy because it's followed immediately by a joke. Crazy, right? Right? He said, Sky, if you look at all the market crashes, the theater chains have been greatly affected. Losing at least 50% of the overall company's bottom line is staggering. Yep. I remember, especially because bruh, out here when they all had to like close, bro, it was crazy, you know? And I remember how we didn't even know if like because I think it was like Alamo Draft House, and they was talking about how they wasn't even sure that they was gonna open back up, bro, for a little bit, right? So 100%, right? He said, Sky, when the pandemic hit, people were streaming movies at home. Streaming is the way now. Yeah, but also I think that it's also the studio's fault because they got in bed with streaming, bro. They should have never gotten in bed with streaming to the extent that they all did. And they all did it, bro. They all tried to start streaming services and all that stuff. And they, bro, if none of them would have done that, right? I think maybe the physical media market would still be shrinking. I don't think it would be like as shrunken as it is now, but I do think that it would have continued to shrink though. But at the same time, if all of the movies were just in theaters and then they got their theatrical run and you had to wait until it went to Netflix, which is what it should be. It should just be like, hey, we'll sell digital copies and then put that shit on Netflix. That's what they all should have done. Right? Or even, hey, throw it up on Amazon. I'm not saying that like fucking Amazon was like a studio, right? But nah, man, HBO Max did it. You had Paramount Plus. All these people tried to get in and get a fucking piece of that Netflix cake, and it just, they all ended up failing. Disney thought that, look, they had the best chance of actually dethroning them, and they couldn't even do it. Right? If Disney wasn't gonna do it, then everybody else should have just sat the fuck back and watched and waited and saw what happened. Right? He said, I can stream music at home, but people still go to concerts. Bruh. He said their COVID protocols for Hollywood cost them astronaut. Bro, it's crazy. Right? He said, it's the only business still operating as if we don't see behind their facade. We said no to the bullshit in November. We're going to keep saying no now. Only general audience that saw Super Shooter pissed that they did, right? Yeah. Nar says they will spin it and say it was the pandemic, but I remember being in a meeting in 2018, hearing about HBO Max and other studios making streaming services. Absolutely. Absolutely. They all, look, it was the forbidden apple and they bit it. Right? And not only did they bite it, right? But Warner Brothers, WBD, and it's crazy because looking back, y'all remember when they had decided that all the movies was going to come day and date? And how pissed that everybody got. That's really the cardinal sin. That was really the one, right? So it's funny hearing about how theaters and shit is dying and everybody mad, and you got somebody from WBD saying, "Oh my God, it's the theaters," but yet they was the ones that had that crazy ass fucking decision. It'll go day and date on HBO Max. Y'all remember how everybody got mad, right? How Nolan was pissed. Everybody was pissed off. Gal Gadot got pissed. Everybody that had movies was pissed off. Denzel Washington got pissed. Right? Y'all remember that, right? Denzel got pissed because he had that movie with Jared Leto coming out. Right? Y'all remember that? Yeah, I'm sure y'all do. I'm sure y'all do. That whole day and day shit pissed off everybody. Right? So, yeah, yo. This has been the poison pill that they took themselves, right? They're the ones did all this. They're the ones. Hold up, where did integrity go? He said the real issue plaguing cinema is all the dog shit they put in theaters. It's kind of like, right? That's what I'm saying. All this dog shit, you know. Keep shortening all these streaming windows, bro. Right? They say, oh yeah, you know, catch it on streaming a month after. Right, bro? If people weren't so trained to think, hey, this is gonna come on streaming in a month, maybe they would want to go to the movies, right? But I think that if they were actually bringing some good shit, because like, say for instance, Oppenheimer didn't get that fucking, it didn't have a abbreviated theatrical run. It had its full fucking theatrical run, and then it went to streaming like way after that, right? It went to streaming way after that, right? I am of the belief, just like people can be, you know, trained to, hey, this is gonna come to streaming in 1 month. You could also untrain that shit. Be like, look, we're not gonna do that anymore. Nah, these movies are gonna stay in the fucking theaters for 100 days. You know what I'm saying? But you got to put more quality shit back in there and stop trying to force feed the people what they don't want. He says, Sky, you also have to remember that deal that they made back in 2012 and selling the actors' rights and likenesses to the company and AI. This is all bad, bro. He said his fit in crypto was all over that film because it was dog shit. Crazy. Said Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins may have been pissed, but they collected their checks. Scarlett Johansson took Disney to court, but she was briefed on the streaming matter. Yep, these are facts. Mama Bear said, I saw some say Superman is like Batman Forever after Keaton's Batman, and I liked it. They overcorrected on Goofy and gave us Superman. Man, this shit is not like no Batman Forever. Bruh, Batman Forever did not have a scene in it where anybody walked past a fucking piece of shrapnel that came within 1 millimeter of their fucking cornea, and they didn't. Right? No, I know what you mean, though, Mama Bear. I know what you mean. I keyed. But no, I'm saying, yo, it's wild. It's wild. You know, you also have bro, there are so many different ways that this thing can be like tackled, man. I think that you could have some of these streamers like Amazon Prime and Netflix start making more like little theatrical, you know, they just tried this shit the wrong way. They played the wrong game and they lost. You know what I mean? So be agile, right? He said these executives talked about putting full open bars, babysitting for parents, even barbecues, all sorts of nonsense. Right? Crazy. Babysitting. I think I saw that on like The Simpsons or something. It didn't like have something where you could like drop your baby off. Right. Let me see this. All right. There is a great tower alone on the sea, and you became the life on the dark side of me, and love remains. Anyway, Ill Life says, what's funny is the Batman made drastically less than BBS, and now Super Shit is making drastically less than Man of Steel. I'm noticing a pattern. All right. All right. He said 4-course meals and all that good shit, right? They like, hey. All right, hey. He said if they won the game, it's gonna be great. And they started with the CARES Act. We got to get into that, bro. He said Netflix is imagining the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in modern day coming July 24th. Right? Hey. He said, damn, bruh, that's one of my songs at karaoke, bruh. Right? Facts, bro. Hey. He said, take the mics. Wow, bro. This one is crazy. Said Batman Forever is underrated. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. That's why I'm like, bro, don't be trying to act like Superman is Batman Forever. I'm like, that shit is not right. CEO cooked on that song for show. Right. Yeah. And we have bars at a lot of the theaters out here. You know, that's what I was gonna say too. Like, few of the theaters I be going to got bars. I'll be going up. Let me get a whiskey sour. You know what I'm saying? Neat. And if you got the egg yolk, go ahead and put that in there. You know what I mean? The egg white. You dig? Go ahead. Right? Oh my God. She said, our side can sing, but you won't find them doing the exact streets back. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Hey, fly like an eagle, bro. Fly like an eagle into the sea. Fly like an eagle. Let my spirit carry me. I'm gonna fly. Hey, look, stop it, bro. He said, I heard in Germany they serve beer. Bruh, here they serve beer, bro. But look, I wouldn't be shocked, bro. Would not be shocked. You dig? Yeah, like full kitchens now. I'm with all that. He said Zach Street Boys was the James Gunn level abomination. He's Sky. What's the best way to engage with Netflix, bro? Hey, being positive, bro. Using the same two hashtags and not mixing them. You know what I'm saying? And watching shit on the platform. That's how we let them know, dog. Tweet it out and let them know that you own the platform watching some shit. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Mama Bear. Delivered to the seat. It's an impromptu dance routine. Bro, I got a whole choreographed thing, bro. You can't even get. He said, can you share your perspective on the direction of 28 years later? Honestly, I have not seen that yet. I'm fucked around and I have not seen that yet. I'm tripping. Definitely tripping. Because it's like another one coming out too, right? I think in like January or like is sometime next year, right? But that might be one that I buy on 4K without even watching it. So because I also do that. Stuff that I think I'm gonna know, things that I kind of predict that I'm gonna like or be interested in, I'll just buy it on 4K. You know. He said, I feel like Netflix has their feet up on the coffee table right now with a cigar and they're watching Hollywood burn itself down before they make a big move. Nah, think about this, man. I've been saying this, ill life, right? I legit think that that Netflix is in a great position right now, man. And that's why when it comes to the, you know, the Snyder stuff or the sale movement, all of those things, I honestly genuinely think that, should I even say this, bro? I wouldn't be shocked if like there's already been not even just talks, because I've already spoke about that. Not even just advanced talks, because I've already kind of spoke about that, right? I think that I'm willing to say that there have been even more talks. I don't even know what's past advanced, right? But no, I truly do think that. And I think if you look at the way that Netflix kind of operates, right? They tend to announce things sometimes like a little bit closer to it actually like coming to fruition, you know, more than other places do, right? Something like this, obviously, you are going to kind of put that out there, right? But at the same time, though, and this is something that you don't have to just take my word for it. Those night shift streams are still up. And if you look at it even more so now, you can see that it's really true, because fucking Stranger Things is ending, right? Squid Game, I know Squid Game has had a tremendous amount of impact, but that is about to come to an end in its current iteration, right? They're talking about an American version, or like an American, not a reboot, but I guess like a spinoff, some kind of American version. Who knows if that's going to have the same amount of impact? Right? But I truly think that, yo, there's, man, if y'all think that they ain't been talking, you know, what was the homie Nard talking about? Yeah, a pitch deck. If if y'all think it ain't been no pitch decks put together, I think y'all crazy. If y'all don't think it's been a pitch deck put together by now, you know what I mean? Right? And saying that Mr. Robot is on Netflix. Yeah. Said Netflix definitely saw all the engagement that Snyder's DC movies got or were getting when Superman dropped. Yeah, we all heard that ZSJL was the most watched thing on HBO Max. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, bro. Stranger Things is about to come to an end. You know? Hold on, where is this thing? Let me pull this up real quick. All right, let's pull this up. There's actually, yeah. Thanks for sending me this. Right, got this article that's kind of talking about this, and yeah, they sounding a alarm, right? And what's really crazy is he's saying the economics of making motion pictures are more problematic now than ever. What's the value proposition? How do you make movies that net a studio money in today's economy, and particularly from from legacy studios? Look at this sentence right here. It's much different than streaming companies that have different kind of funding. Look, just so y'all get it, I fucking highlighted it, right? Streaming companies have different kind of funding, right? So when we say, hey, according to Netflix, Rebel Moon was a fucking success, and you got people trying to say, hey, man, that's not true. Here it is from Jeff Goldstein, the president of global distribution for Warner Brothers Pictures. So here, for all y'all motherfuckers that's been out there shilling, this is from Warner Brothers. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't even get that deep into this without getting upset. Right? It says we have to figure out how we can right the ship. I think we'll get there pretty soon because we have to. We don't have a choice. Right? I sat right in the middle of that. The dollars we spend are in many cases much greater than we've ever spent before, but the effectiveness is much less. When you look at those numbers, quite frankly, it does keep you up at night, and it keeps me up at night. We are looking as an industry at how do you get that audience? The fact that you have to hit a bullseye right in the center, because now you don't get past the previews. The world is a village, and information gets out in a nanosecond, and it can really kill a concept that you may have been working out for a long period of time. Right? It says, unfortunately, Warner Brothers has had a few misses with really expensive movies, and at our postmortems, we'll go back and say, okay, what did we do wrong? What will we like to do next time, and how do we overcome it? So much of it is frustration of not to be able to reach an audience. Bruh, I low-key don't want to hear none of that shit from anybody over at WB. I don't want to hear none of that shit. And there you guys go. It's from Deadline, and it's from March 31st. Warner Brothers, Jeff Goldstein sounds alarm on economics of making movies. Right? Crazy. Right? That's from Warner Brothers, dog. That's from Warner Brothers, dog. Right? They said that the streaming shit got a different, that's something that we can't really, we can't really speak on that. You know what I'm saying? We can't really speak on that. Cause they got a different setup, right? They got a whole different setup, right? He said, everyone, we need something original. Rebel Moon comes out. Also, everyone, this is horrible. Right? Bro, they even tried to act like Sinners wasn't no big deal. Remember that? They went so far out of their way to act like Sinners wasn't a big deal to where they was going to still fire the fucking producers while they had 2 hits in theaters making money. Think about that. You got people that are trying to say, yo, we got to figure out how to get people back in theaters. And then you had some producers that had 2 fucking hit movies in theaters at the same time, and they were threatening to fire these people. Think about that. That's how fucking backwards this company is. Bruh, this is wild, bruh. This is wild. He said, yo, we ain't got no choice, because if we don't figure out how to right this ship, we ain't gonna have no ship. Right? Crazy. But yeah, y'all put y'all last questions and comments down at the bottom. I'm about to start wrapping up. I want to thank y'all for pulling up, man, as always. He said Godzilla -1 was a masterpiece. I thought it was really good. Yeah, I felt like it was like a how can I say, a like it was just kind of like a good movie that had Godzilla in it, you know. Sinners was a phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely. Sinners was fire. He said Zaslav is the enemy of progress. Project Hail Mary, Running Man, and Tron all look promising. I will say this. Tron, I'm still hot that Daft Punk not doing the fucking thing again, yo. I'm really mad. I'm really mad. I know Daft Punk ain't even together no more, but I feel like they should have got them back. You know? I don't know. That's really bothering me. And then Running Man, I'm a big fan of the OG Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I didn't know what to think about this trailer when I first started watching it, but then by the end, I was sold, because it is a little bit different. Right? Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. No, y'all missed the drop. Y'all already missed it. Right? I would do it again, but we are about to wrap up. Right? No, it's on here though. Right when we got to 50, I was on top of it. Right? DC Talk saying Mike and Pam beat Gunn at his own game. Yeah, I don't know, man. I might be doing a stream on this pretty soon, man, because I don't know. I saw this thread on X, and yeah, I don't know. I think it may be worthy to cover it, because, you know, why not? Why not? It's just a stream, you know what I'm saying? Uday says Christopher Nolan has a massive following in India. Is he equally celebrated in Hollywood, or is the reception more critical? Here's the thing, right? With Nolan, the fans out here and, you know, all of that, we love it. You know, all of his shit sells out, all of that. But I think, you know, and here's the thing too. A lot of Hollywood loves Christopher Nolan, but it seems like it's almost like fake love. You know what I'm saying? Like they be waiting for him to do something to try to pounce. Almost like they're mad at him for bringing Zack Snyder in. I mean, hey, like, bro, it's your fault. No. You was the one. Right? He said, what is Trent Reznor's Sky at 9 Inch Nails? Trust me, bro. I know, but it's just, look, Ill Life. Can we at least agree on this? Right? Daft Punk, bro. That fucking soundtrack is like one of the best fits I've ever seen for any movie. Period. I don't know. right? Yeah. Mount Bear said that it was at 45. No, I mean, I played it. I 100% played it. Right? Predator Badlands looks dope. Right? Yes, Predator Badlands looks dope. He said, Sky, do you see the thread about the gun and Safran Coup? What about how they're possibly getting fired and how that they tried to have a coup and they failed, and how apparently that they're getting fired and it's like already been fucking decided. I don't know. But hey, you know, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, should I cover it? And I'm like, you know, I don't know. But then I'm thinking, it's just a stream. You know what I mean? It might be worth it to talk about it. You never know, right? It might be worth it to talk about it. Right? Yeah. Right? It's okay. And then he said, big fat Scott. Yep. And then Tony said, if there was ever gonna be an artist that had to follow up Daft Punk for a Tron movie, Nine Inch Nails is literally the only other artist that could do it. I got y'all. But look, I can't just say that it should have been Daft Punk, bro. I can't just say that, guys. Right? Just let me live in my fantasy. Right? I want Daft Punk to come back. Yo, imagine if they would have, because look, y'all can say whatever y'all want to about Nine Inch Nails, right? But Daft Punk ain't even together no more, right? If they would have came back together for this soundtrack, that would have broke the internet. 100%. I don't think anybody can argue that. Right? Are we going to argue that if they came back and just did this soundtrack, was like, look, we're going to put all this other shit to the side, you know what I'm saying? We're going to work it out. I don't know. Right? I don't know. He said Daft Punk killed it, but I think Nine Inch Nails is a perfect evolution. All right. Look, we'll see. We'll see. We got Tony loving the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. Yeah. Yeah, bro. He said, bro, can you suggest me 3 underrated gangster action drama movies? Gangster action drama. I would like Training Day stuff. Oh, yeah, because he's just saying Training Day is Equalizer. Okay, if we're going off like Training Day status, bruh, Training Day, New Jack City, bro. Boys in the Hood, dog. South Central, Menace to Society, like gangster action, fresh. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got some American gangsters in here. Jersey Drive, New Jersey Drive, right? Yeah. Yeah, fresh. All right. I like Street Kings too. So yeah, can't wait for the Avatar 3 trailer. Avatar 3 trailer. Yep. That's gonna be coming out. I'm gonna be seeing that. Right? He said, yeah, for sure. It would be legendary. All right. And that's all I wanted to know. Because y'all know, each and every one of y'all sitting here would know that if Theta came out and was like, yo, we got Daft Punk back together for the fucking soundtrack, everybody would have lost their shit. That's all that I want to say. All right. I can say that. He said, I'm sure Reznor will pay homage to Daft Punk's score. You can already kind of hear it in the bass line in the trailer. I'm sure. I'm just saying, right, that you know, I would have rather have that Punk, but we'll see. Cause y'all know how legendary that score was, bro. Like it was wild. I actually still listen to that shit. Daft Punk was offered a boatload of money for Paris Summer Olympics last year and turned it down. Yeah, I know. Yep. Heat, Brooklyn's Finest, The Departed. Yep, Man on Fire is a good one. Right? In Too Deep. Yeah. Oh man. R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne too, yo. Right. Ozzy Osbourne is somebody who I definitely spent a lot of time, you know, kind of watching when I was younger. You know, I wasn't like the biggest Black Sabbath fan until I got a little bit older, right? So like a lot of me being younger was just kind of watching him walk around the house looking confused, saying Sharon, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. But nah, man. RIP to that dude, true trendsetter, and yeah, he will definitely be missed. Tony said we would all rather have Daft Punk. All right, cool. All right, I got you. He said, but 9 Inch Nails is literally the next best thing. It's like going from an 11 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. All right, that's the best way to put it. And I thought I was getting some pushback, right? It just felt that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that y'all were actually pushing back. I'm just saying it felt that way because I wasn't feeling the reciprocation when I was talking about how dope that Daft Punk was on that soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. He said, even though it's not a movie, The Wire is a classic. Yeah, for sure. Yep, Juice. Yeah, Juice, for sure. Love that movie. Look, I'm about to get out of here because y'all about to get me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to I'm about to get on out of here. Y'all about to get me in trouble for sure. You know what I mean? Look, I will be back tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, with another stream, which it should be very, very fun. You know what I mean? And we'll be continuing these conversations and really bringing y'all that fire and just keeping you guys entertained while giving y'all some dope information at the same time. So be on the lookout, you know what I mean? And be on the lookout for some other stuff too that might be coming pretty soon as well, right? We'll stay locked in with y'all. You see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Zack Snyder fans are weirdos. Do you think James Gunn rebooted the DC universe properly?
This answer your question.
Oh my God! James Gunn.
Kay Walton, James Gunn's not more successful than Zack Snyder at the box office. Zack Snyder, look at Batman v Superman and how well 300 did and all that stuff. Boy, I gotta tell you, James Gunn's fans, you guys are like, you're more aggressive. Let's just say more aggressive than even Snyder fans, and that's saying something. Woo! And you got a lot of free time, I must say.
Woo, honey.
And we back with the epilogue because I forgot to do members minutes again. You did. Yeah, it's fine though, because it's the real core audience right here, right? Like y'all be like, yo, I'm gonna stay till after the video because Sky probably didn't forgot to do members minutes, right? So y'all know what that means. We're gonna play this and we'll be right back. You dig?
They say all I care about is views. They say all I care about is views. They say all I care about is views. But what about you? What about you? Came a long way from no subs back when y'all was showing me no love, no front. I just had to take a look back, cause sometimes y'all forgot I shook that. I know they would attack cause of own issues. To be honest, I got sick and tired of feeling misused. That's why I've always played a drop for every super chat to show appreciation. Now you're fucking doing that. And just like Mikey used to bring us all together, we gotta take a minute to shout out all the members.
Hey, shout out to all the members. Yeah. What's going on? All right, let's go ahead and get on with members minutes. You dig? The homie Austin saying, hey, replay crew in charge. Gotta throw Grace some grace. When she said that some people say they prefer their DC dark and epic, I don't think she was saying that as a bad thing at all, especially using the word epic, which implies a gratuitous tone towards the subject. You know, obviously others say something like dark and depressing to try and trash it. I think Grace is under the Mike and Pam umbrella too. She got the company talking points, but also speaks freely. She's funny, that's for sure. All right, peace out. Shout out to the members minutes. You dig? And shout out to the dog, the good Austin. We also got the homie in here, the Curly Ray saying hashtag replay crew. With the homie DC Talk 82 saying Gunn is bitter and done at this point. Probably another awesome stream. And then again with replay crew now. You dig? Man, I just I'm really having fun with this members minutes, man. I'm really enjoying going through and watching you guys' comments and just seeing how the community is engaging with this stuff, man. I really do appreciate you guys. And yeah, man, we got something very, very special coming for you guys in the near future. And I just want to say thank y'all for rocking out again. You dig? So we out for show this time, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right, peace.